It's time for the One Bar and Lupaga Show, bringing you anything and everything Minnesota Vikings.
Welcome to professional football.
All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupagus Show. I am One Bar, joined with Lupagus. Lupagus, happy draft week.
Well, thank you. That means the world. It's here. It came quick this year. It really snuck up on us, didn't it?
It's going to be gone before we know it, and it's going to be very, very sad and depressing.
This is not my draft hair. This is actually my quarantine hair. I think it looks pretty luscious and full. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you pulled it off well. I think you're looking real put together today.
Can you tell I use Suave?
No, it doesn't look like you use anything. And in today's One Bar and Lupagus Show, we're going to give you our final full one-round mock, which consists of 2 Vikings picks.
Yes, our final, the ultimate mock draft where we rotate picks. I think I just submitted my final 2-rounder, which should go up on the page tomorrow or the day after. I don't remember. But
it'll be there tomorrow. But yes, the ultimate mock. We take turns. Lupagus gets the pleasure of starting first. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the One Bar and Lupagus Show and like the video.
All right, with the first pick, the Bengals are taking Joe Burrow. Not much to discuss here. This is a slam dunk.
Yeah, it is a slam dunk. Joe Burrow, Godspeed in Cincinnati.
Yep.
And, I think number 2 is pretty much damn near just as much of a slam dunk these days. Chase Young, defensive end, Ohio State to the Redskins.
Yeah, the best player in the draft. I think this is a lock. I don't see the Redskins pulling a Clelin Ferrell like the Raiders did last year. So,
God, I hope so. I can't wait for that pick.
Yeah, I think the next pick's pretty much a lock if the Lions stay put. All signs point to Jeffrey Okudah, the cornerback from Ohio State. You don't see many corners like Okudah come around very often, so I think they grab him and plug him right into their secondary.
Yeah, being in the NFC North, I actually hope they do trade back. I hate the thought of him being on the Lions. He is one of the best corners that come out in a little while here, but I fully expect the Lions to trade back. I've convinced myself.
And there should be teams who want to. With Tua and Herbert on the board, I would assume someone's going to want to get up ahead of those 5 and 6 picks to get one of those quarterbacks.
Yeah, but I think you're right. If they stay in this order, I think that's deadlocked. And at number 4, this is where it starts to get a little dicey, where nobody really knows. I mean, it's the Giants. Saw what they did last year. Daniel Jones. They're just a little crazy when they come to the draft. But I'm playing it pretty safe with them. I'm going Isaiah Simmons, linebacker from Clemson. He is the Swiss Army knife. The guy can play anywhere. Insane amount of athleticism. Let's face it, the Giants just suck. They need good players, and they need to just go best available, and Simmons, I think, is that guy.
Yeah, there was a rumor today that they were actually very interested in Justin Herbert, which if they took a quarterback, that would be – Dan Jones was pretty damn good last year, so I don't know why you do that. I also like
Giants.
Simmons. Yeah, I also like Simmons, but I do think this could be an offensive tackle too. But I think they can find a pretty good one at the top of round 2. So I think they go Simmons here. Dolphins. The Justin Herbert here has been getting some steam, but I'm sticking with my boy Tua. I think he's got way more upside. I know that knee is worrisome, but so far he seems to be ahead of schedule. So I'm going Tua here. I do think it's a quarterback for sure. I think Tua should be the pick.
Yeah, and Tua is a great example of this year's draft that could who was it? Ian Rappaport tweeted it out, where everybody's mock drafts, everybody's projections are going to be so off. And a lot goes into that. And one of the big things are people can't really check on these players. They can't do their full medicals. They didn't have their pro days. It's kind of a crapshoot. So I see a lot of teams being extremely safe in this draft. And this is where Tua is the big old question mark in the top 10. I can't wait.
I think a lot of teams might stick with what they saw at the Combine and the Senior Bowl. That might take precedence over anything else. So where the rankings were back then might be closer to what we actually see in the draft.
Yeah, and number 6, you just mentioned them, Chargers. They're going to snap up their quarterback. They lost – or Phillip Rivers is Gonzo, Justin Herbert, Oregon. There's Phillip, but they got Tyrod Taylor right now. Herbert's got he's got the skills. He's got in fact, I actually starting to drink the Dolphins Kool-Aid that they might take him. He's just a safer pick. He's got all the tools you want in a franchise quarterback, and Chargers get a nice little transition from Rivers to Herbert.
Makes sense to me. Panthers, I'm taking Derek Brown, defensive tackle from Auburn. You need a big run stuffer, penetrator in the middle. Brown can be both. I think he's a 3-down defensive lineman, doesn't come out the field, and a true beast. So Derek Brown to the Panthers.
You know who shut down Derek Brown this year?
Gophers.
They did. They did a really good job against him. All right, Cardinals. I think this one we disagree on. The fantasy land for Cardinals and probably Kyler Murray is to bring in CeeDee Lamb, his old Oklahoma pal. But I think they need to go offensive line. It's a must. I mean, they have Kyler Murray to get DeAndre Hopkins. You gotta have some protection. And right now they don't have any. I'm going Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle from Iowa, to protect their number 1 pick from last year.
Yeah, you look at it, they do have, like, I can't think of their depth chart off the top of my head, but it's not horrible. I think they could get by if they did want to go the sexy route and go CeeDee Lamb. It would be crazy. But you really look at the Cardinals roster, it's not that bad from top to bottom. I'm surprised they're as bad as they were. I do think the tackle makes more sense, but if it was CeeDee Lamb, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, Kyler Murray would be jumping with joy.
Well, they only got Fitzgerald for one more year, so it needs someone else eventually.
They got a pretty decent, pretty top-heavy depth chart there. They got some good pieces.
I'm not an Andy Isabella fan.
I don't know anybody is.
All right, Jacksonville Jaguars. They are taking Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver, Alabama. To me, he's the best in the class this year, especially now they released Marquise Lee today, so I think wide receiver definitely becomes their number 1 need. You don't see a guy who can run routes like this coming out of college like Jeudy can, so I think he's the pick. And if you're going to go Gardner Minshew, you got to give him weapons. So Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver, Alabama.
And Jerry Jeudy. Judy's, by the way, is a nice little eating establishment up on the North Shore of the Gitche Gumi. Check it out.
Check it out for sure. Cheap, delicious food.
All right, number 10, the Browns. They have neglected their offensive line long enough. They neglected it last year. It bit them in the ass. They signed all these players, and it didn't matter because their O-line sucks so bad. They're getting Mekhi Becton from Louisville, offensive tackle. Even though he may or may not have failed a drug test or whatever that was that came out. Diluted urine, is that what it was?
The flagged drug tests.
Flagged. All right. He's still a monster. He's still a beast. Guys like this size should not move like he does. They're going to plop him over there on that offensive line and give Baker Mayfield the time that he needs to complete over 55% of his passes.
Yeah, they got Jack Conklin in free agency. You get this big boy next to him. It'll be interesting to see the order these offensive tackles go in. I think they could go really in any order. I'm going to be surprised if Thomas was the first one, if Wills was. I mean, I think it's a matter of preference when it comes to these guys this year.
You know what? I think you're absolutely right. I think receivers is kind of in the same boat. But yeah, these tackles are going to be very interesting to see. I can't wait to see Ezra Cleveland come off way sooner than anybody expects.
Long before we're on the clock.
God, I'm kidding.
New York Jets, they're going to, they got the same kind of issues. They got to decide if they're going to protect their quarterback or give him a weapon. If you protect Sam Darnold, what's the point? He's got nothing to throw to right now. So I'm giving him Henry Ruggs, the third wide receiver, Alabama. Take the top off of defense. He's got, some of the fastest legs in this draft. So I think to give Sam Darnold a deep threat, open up that offense, make things a little easier for Le'Veon Bell in the running game.
Yeah, if he's the pick, there's going to be Henry Tuggs all over New York. It'd be very exciting.
Heck yeah.
12, the Las Vegas Raiders are going for that wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb, Oklahoma. I actually think he's going to push to be one of the best guys that come out of this draft when it comes to receiver. Raiders, they need a receiver. They booted Amari Cooper a couple years ago. Antonio Brown didn't work out. Got a couple guys last year in the draft, but CeeDee Lamb is a true full-blown number 1, and even Derek Carr would be able to put up some numbers with him.
Yep, the way it's falling, I definitely see that happening. San Francisco 49ers, they traded with the Colts to get this pick, and I think they're going right back to their defensive line. That is their bread and butter, so why not get a beast like Javon Kinlaw to plug in the middle? This guy's raw. He needs to be refined a little bit, but he's got everything you'd want. He's hungry. He's aggressive. I love Javon Kinlaw. I think he'd be a great fit here for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, they are geniuses when it comes to drafting defensive linemen in the round 1, and they could have five guys deep on defensive line. They're still going to take a defensive lineman. It pays off. 14, the Bucks. This is going to be back-to-back picks for Vikings fans. Pipe dreams will be demolished because we'd love to see Kinlaw in purple. We also love to see him, Andrew Thomas, tackle from Georgia. Really, I mean, the Bucks Bucks need an offensive tackle extremely bad, and Andrew Thomas is a steal in my book at 14. He has the ability to be the first tackle taken. So Bucks get a steal at 14. Thomas is their tackle for the next 7 to 10 years.
Yep, Denver Broncos, they were hoping to get one of the big 3 wide receivers. It did not happen, so they're settling for Jedrick Wills, the offensive tackle from Alabama.
Settling.
Yeah, I know. Garrett Bowles isn't really working out in Denver. He's kind of not a favorite of the coaching staff and the front office, so I think they look for his replacement. I think Jedrick Wills is one of those plug-and-play tackles. He could probably start from day one for the Broncos and give their young quarterback, Drew Lock, plenty of protection.
We're losing all of our offensive line prospects for the Vikings at 22.
It's not good.
It's not good at all. 16, the Falcons. Seems like this is a need for them every year. Kayvon Chason from LSU. Not only does he have one of the best names in the draft, but he is a monster. Watching this guy get to the quarterback, his moves, his quickness, he's pretty insane. And I think the Falcons are finally going to squash a huge need that they've had for about 48 years and get their big pass rusher.
Yeah, you said it. I think that one looks like it's going to be a lock at this point. Cowboys, this is going to be a pick in the secondary. It's a love biggest guarantee. It's going to be Xavier McKinney or C.J. Henderson. I think Henderson's a little better prospect. So we're going with C.J. Henderson, cornerback out of Florida. He's got the size, he's got the length, got the speed. They lost Byron Jones in free agency, so I definitely think they look for a corner replacement early in this draft. If they get C.J. Henderson here, and Jerry Jones will be going apeshit.
Wow. 4 more picks to the Vikings. Getting nervous.
So nervous.
Pick 18, the Dolphins. They lost Rashad Jones in their secondary at safety. Xavier McKinney is sitting there for the taking, and they don't hesitate. McKinney, best safety in the draft, no doubt, and the Dolphins beef up their secondary. Easy.
Raiders are up again with the pick they got from the Bears. We'll finally get the pick in the first round again next year, but they can't this year. They're going to take Jordan Love, the cornerback from Utah State. They have Mariota and Derek Carr at quarterback, which means they don't have a quarterback right now. So Jordan Love, with those two on the roster, he can wait a year before he's really got to see the field, come in, compete. He can move. He's got a strong arm. He needs to work on his accuracy a little bit. Needs to work on going through his progressions. But he's got all the tools to be a successful NFL quarterback, and I think he will be. So Raiders are taking Jordan Love.
What do you think John Gruden would say when he makes this pick?
I like this Jordan Love. What he always says.
Nailed it. You nailed it.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
All right, who do I got?
You got the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars. Boy, their defensive line is going to have quite the facelift. Campbell looking to trade the other feller. AJ Epinesa, easy. He fits their mold. He's that big, ginormous defensive end that they love. He's going to come in. He's going to cause some serious ruckus. The Jags need to rebuild on that defense. It used to be their bread and butter, and now it's just soggy, stale bread.
Yuck. What can you get in prison?
Mm.
Eagles. Eagles are going to snipe the Vikings again here. They're going to take Justin Jefferson, the wide receiver from LSU. They have to take a wide receiver. They got 2 old guys at the top of their depth chart. They got the young guy from last year who's still not quite ready, Arcega Whiteside. So I think they get Justin Jefferson, plug him in the slot where he is going to be a beast. He had a crazy season last year. He caught like 100 balls, 17 touchdowns, insane numbers. He's fast. He's big. Makes a lot of sense for the Eagles here.
This pick is made, and it will be made. I've convinced myself. My heart will break. My parts will become loose. I'm so not happy about this. But in this scenario, we're pretty much losing all the top names surrounding it. So right now, the Vikings are on the clock from their pick from Diggs, and you got to look at their options right now. You got to think of guys like Denzel Mims, Christian Fulton, Jalen Johnson. There's still a couple of tackles there, but I'm going a different route. I'm going Jeff Gladney, cornerback from TCU. I just think this guy is ready day one. He makes plays. He's not as big as you want in a corner, but he makes up for it. The guy can lay a punch. I think he comes in, and I think he damn near starts week 1. Go watch some of the stuff that he does. He is all over the field, and he's a tough player. Yeah,
you can have your Jeff Gladney. I'm not interested, but I don't know.
He's good. He's a
undersized.
good football player.
The next Mike Hughes is what he is.
No.
And he's not the 22nd best player in this draft, so I don't like the value at all. I think you can trade down and still get him or get someone very similar. So whatever. It'd be one of those picks where I wouldn't be excited about it, but eventually I'd warm up to it. But always be lukewarm about it. New England Patriots. This team is going to rub next year. I was looking at the roster a little bit ago. I did their plan of attack. They're not going to be very good next year. And I think they just the way the draft's fallen, they would have loved to have gotten Jordan Love, would have loved to get Epinesa, but now they just settle for Kenneth Murray, linebacker, get a new leader for the middle of their defense. It's one of their biggest needs, so I think they go with Kenneth Murray, the linebacker from Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that pick one bit. All right, we got the Saints.
Yep.
We got the Saints, and their defense has actually come a long way in the last couple of years. I mean, the Saints defense used to be absolutely horrible, but they're going in state. They're taking Patrick Queen, linebacker from LSU. They can throw him in the middle of this linebacking core. They got a couple of decent linebackers, but I think he comes in, makes this improving defense even better.
Yeah, the last linebacker they took really was Stephon Anthony. Think that'll scare him?
That was a girl's pick to begin with.
Hear me. All right, Vikings are up again. Woo! All right, you mentioned them already, and I'm taking them. Denzel Mims, wide receiver, Baylor.
Mimsky.
6'3", sub 4.4 speed. It might take him a season to reach his full potential, but to really become productive. But he's got everything you need to be a number 2 option on the outside. Deep threat, size, speed, combo guy. Once he gets those route running polished up, he's going to be damn near unstoppable. So you got to love Denzel Mims, and he's a lifelong Vikings fan. Dream realized for this kid. This would be an amazing pick on so many levels.
Let's just face it. One of the main number 1 reasons you want this guy is because he loves the Vikings.
You're damn right.
Yeah, he's a playmaker. I think it's going to take him a little bit. I would not be upset with this pick one bit as long as people have the right expectations with him, where he's going to come in and probably make a couple big plays a game and probably not catch 80 balls as a rookie year.
Well, and the way the draft fell, I think is the best option right now. I don't know who else you take at this point. So to me, he's the best player available and fits the biggest need.
You know what Jeff Gladney and Denzel Mims sounds like?
A couple beers down my throat.
Sounds like a Super Bowl championship. Especially that Gladney part.
Yeah. You got the Dolphins for like the 3rd time here.
I know, Dolphins. What a lame team to get this many times. But you know what? I'm improving this team. I'm making them a championship caliber squad here. And one thing they need is a running back. And I'm going Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin. 3-down back. This guy, he would come in. I mean, who's the Dolphins running back right now?
I don't know. They traded Butts' Josh Drake.
Yeah. So they need a guy to go with their bright new shiny quarterback that you gave them. They got a safety. They're hitting some big needs, and then one of the big things is they're getting huge value. Taylor. I mean, when it comes to running back, it's kind of like receiver and offensive line. You don't know where they're going to be going. DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Taylor. They're all so damn close to each other, but I like Taylor. And I think he's going to be damn good. And I think he's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher for those Dolphins year 1.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. These running backs, who knows what order they're going to come off the board, but I do love Jonathan Taylor too. With that 40th time he ran at the combine was like 4.3 something at his size. That's insane. So makes a lot of sense to me. All right, now I have the most impossible pick to try to predict in the NFL draft. This is Seattle Seahawks. 2 years ago, they took Rashad Penny in round 1. Last year, they took L.J. Collier. This team they seem to like to take third rounders in round 1. So I was trying to project that when I made this pick. I'm going with Curtis Weaver, defensive end, outside linebacker from Boise State. They need an edge rusher. He's not considered a first-round talent, so it's kind of making sense. So that's what I'm going with. Curtis Weaver.
They need a pass rusher, and you're right. Weaver is a guy that is projected anywhere from like early round 2 to like late round 3. So you might have nailed it this year for the Seahawks.
I hope I did.
All right, pick 28. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty of round 1. Baltimore Ravens, they were really hoping for one of those linebackers to fall, but it just did not happen. So they are taking their eyeballs to the other side of the field. They're going offense. Center guard, Michigan, Cesar Ruiz. They need offensive line help, especially at center. And worst case, he chucks over to guard. I've started to actually fall in love with this guy quite a bit, and he probably might be on the Vikings radar a little bit. So Cesar Ruiz, 20 years old. He's a bruiser from Michigan, and those Harborough brothers. Maybe you're talking a little bit, so I'm going with Ruiz.
Ooh, I like that last connection you made there. You really think the Vikings should take back-to-back centers? No way in hell.
He ain't a center. He's going to be a guard.
Yeah, but still, he can be center too. You actually sniped my guy for the Titans. I was hoping he was going to fall there for the Titans.
No way Cesar Ruiz is falling.
Took him. So Titans went for Yatur Gross-Matos, getting a young edge rusher there. They let Cameron Wake finally, I don't know if he retired or what, so they need some young blood in there. I know they got Vic Beasley, but he's hit and miss, so I think they go with Yatur Gross-Matos.
Yeah.
Proper pronunciation.
You did. You nailed it. You nailed it. Titans, yeah, it makes complete sense. I'm not going to argue that one bit. Number 30, Packers. I don't know. I'd love to give them like Trey Adams in round one here, but we got to be fair. So going wide receiver, they desperately need wide receiver help. And right now, pretty much all that's left on the bone, Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver, Arizona State, playmaker. As much as it pains me, he would probably be a really good fit with Aaron Rodgers when this guy gets not his balls in his hands. When he gets the balls in his hands, he makes plays.
Yeah, that's the pick I would have made for the Packers here. Only other option would have been Jalen Reagor, who seems to be getting some buzz as a potential first-round pick. The more you read around Twitter these days, I would go Ayuk. Makes the most sense. So I agree fully on that one. Niners are up again. They are going to go in the secondary, get a cornerback, Christian Fulton from LSU. He's would have been my pick for the Vikings, but he falls here in this draft, which is entirely possible. These corners are all ranked very differently, depending on who you talk to. You love about Fulton is his size, speed. He's got the long arms, good press man, cover corner. So sticks to his man like glue. Richard Sherman's getting old. He can't play forever. Nobody wants him to. So I think the San Francisco 49ers find his replacement here at the end of round one. But what they really should do is, because they don't pick again in round 5. So if I'm the 49ers, I'm trying everything I can to move back. Otherwise, I might as well just go to bed for a day and a half because I ain't picking again until 1 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah, if I'm a 49ers fan, I'm hoping they're trading their first pick and their second pick. They need some picks or it's going to be a boring-ass draft weekend.
Yeah, it'd be horrible.
All right, let's wrap this round one up. The Super Bowl champs, what else could they need? They're just completely stacked, and they make themselves even stackered. They get DeAndre Swift, running back, Georgia. They got a committee of running backs back there, and they're all pretty damn good, but DeAndre Swift's on another level. He would just make this offense even better, which is horrifying.
Yeah, you take even more pressure off Pat Mahomes. How dangerous could he be with a threat like DeAndre Swift back there? It's scary to think about, and I think that's why they might go with the running back over their other big need, which would be a corner. So I'm completely on board with this. I think it's going to be running back. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Swift? Is it going to be Taylor? Is it going to be J.K. Dobbins? I don't know, but we'll find out on Thursday night.
We will find out. So in this final ultimate mock draft, the Minnesota Vikings walk away with a cornerback in Jeff Gladney and a wide receiver in Denzel Mims. I don't think either is very far-fetched. I think both these guys are on the radar. The Vikings have met with both these guys. They've shown interest in both these guys. So I wouldn't be upset about this one bit.
Yeah, it's definitely a very plausible scenario and one I think could happen. I'd swap those corners out, but that's just me. Whatever. It'd be
yeah, I got it. Everybody's realizing that you hate Jeff Gladney more than anything.
I don't hate him or anything. I don't know.
You also wanted Devontae Parker over Trey Waynes.
Yeah, and now it's starting to look like a pretty good decision, isn't it?
No, it's not. All right. Well, we still we're going to be bringing you the full final Vikings 7-rounder tomorrow. All 12 picks. We're not trading nothing. There's going to be 12 picks in that mock draft, so make sure to tune in.
Yep, and we'll have round 2 of the ultimate up on the page when we finish that. It'll be posted before the draft sometime. Until then, guys, just a little fact for you to chew on before the draft. At birth, a baby panda is smaller than a mouse. Did you know that?
No, that doesn't sound realistic.
It's true.
I'm going to Google it.